Welcome to the Auto Judge. I'm going to say something that will make at least 3 SUV owners in your neighborhood uncomfortable, and I am perfectly fine with that. Every single weekend across America, someone walks into a dealership, sits down across from a salesperson wearing too much cologne, and finances a $35,000 SUV to drive alone to work with nothing in the back but a gym bag and 30 years of unresolved financial decisions. And the worst part? They feel good about it. They drive off the lot feeling like they conquered something. What they actually conquered was their savings account. Today on the Auto Judge, I'm handing down a verdict that the market has been ignoring for years. 4 used sedans, all under $20,000, that are faster, cheaper to own, and built to outlast the crossover craze by at least 100,000 miles. I have spent over 20 years studying what survives on the road and what quietly drains bank accounts while people smile for Instagram in their driveway. I am not a salesperson. I have never been paid to like a car. I am a judge, and today the evidence is overwhelming. Stay with me, because the third car on this list has a specific engine code that separates bulletproof from why is my mechanic suddenly driving a boat. And if the last car on this list does not make at least one BMW owner do a double take at a red light, I will personally question everything I have learned in 2 decades. If you are new here, hit subscribe, leave a like, and drop a comment below telling me what you currently drive. Because by the end of this video, you might be reconsidering that answer. Toyota Camry V6. I know exactly what just happened in your head. You pictured beige paint, a left blinker that has been on since 2014, and a driver who discovered cruise control in 2003 and never looked back. I understand. I have been there. But stay with me, because this is where the courtroom gets interesting. About 3 years ago, a 2019 Camry XSE V6 rolled into my shop with 92,000 miles on it. The owner walked in apologizing like he had done something wrong. He kept saying things like, "I know it has a lot of miles," and "I figured something had to be wrong by now." We put it on the lift. Original engine. Original transmission. No leaks. No drama. Just a car that had been maintained and had absolutely zero interest in dying. I have worked on well over 100 Camrys in my career. You know what I almost never replace? The engine. You know what I replace constantly on the SUVs those same Camry owners traded in to get something taller and more impressive looking? Transfer cases. Rear differentials. CVT transmissions that cost between $2,500 and $5,500 to replace. That is not an opinion. That is what the invoices say. And invoices do not lie, even when salespeople do. Here is what most people walking past a Camry on a used lot do not understand. The 2019 and 2020 Camry V6 runs a 3.5-liter naturally aspirated V6 pushing 301 horsepower. 0 to 60 in 5.8 seconds. That is not your grandfather's retirement vehicle. That is faster than a Honda CR-V. Faster than a Toyota RAV4. Faster than a Ford Escape. Faster than most compact crossovers that people are proudly financing for $30,000 and bragging about at Thanksgiving dinner. Imagine sitting across the table from someone who just got walked by a Camry at a stoplight and has to pretend it did not happen while passing the mashed potatoes. And here is the part that really matters to me as someone who has lived under these cars. No turbo. No complicated all-wheel drive system on the V6 models. A traditional 8-speed automatic and an engine family that has been refined for years. There are documented fleet vehicles running well beyond 300,000 miles on this powertrain. I personally know of Camry hybrids used in rideshare fleets that crossed 500,000 miles on original powertrains with nothing but basic scheduled maintenance. That is not luck. That is what happens when an engineering team refuses to overcomplicate something that already works. Now let us talk money, because feelings do not pay repair bills and neither does brand loyalty. Average annual maintenance cost on a Camry V6 hovers around $450 per year. Over 10 years, you are looking at roughly $4,500 to $5,000 total. Compare that to mid-size SUVs that routinely average $700 to $900 per year once they age out of warranty. That difference over a decade is not small. That is vacations. That is an investment account. That is not accidentally handing your mechanic a Christmas bonus he did not warn you about. Common issues are about as dramatic as a library on a Tuesday. Oxygen sensors around $300. Wheel bearings if you ignore road noise for 6 months like most people do, because apparently humming sounds are just background music until they are not. Brake rotors around $300 per axle. That is normal wear and tear. That is not a catastrophic drivetrain event that makes you question your life choices in an AutoZone parking lot. One thing worth knowing, the 2018 model year was the first year of that generation, and it carried more recalls, including a fuel pump campaign. That is exactly why I tell people to target 2019 or 2020. By then, the factory had sorted the issues and the engineers had stopped guessing. Who should buy it? If you commute serious miles, something like 20,000 miles per year. If you want a car that will not abandon you in a Target parking lot on a Wednesday evening when you have frozen food in the back. If you want V6 power without luxury brand repair bills showing up in your email like bad news. This is your car. Who should skip it? If you need all-wheel drive with a V6, the Camry only offered AWD on the 4-cylinder models, so that combination does not exist here. If you are looking for rear-wheel drive entertainment and want to slide around corners on a Sunday morning, this is not your vehicle. The Camry is stable. It is planted. It is the adult in the room. And some people are not ready for that level of maturity, which is fine. But here is the verdict on the Camry V6. This car will likely outlive your auto loan, your extended warranty, and your patience with the person who cuts you off on the highway every single morning. It is not flashy. It is not trying to win any beauty contests. It just works, relentlessly, quietly, and for a very long time. And in the car world, just works delivered for 250,000 miles is the most underrated flex there is. If number 4 already made you reconsider something, number 3 is going to make at least one SUV owner question a financial decision they made at a dealership 18 months ago. Mazda 6. Let me tell you something about this car that the market has completely failed to communicate. The Mazda 6 is the automotive equivalent of that quiet person in the room who never brags about anything and then casually reveals they have a law degree, speak 4 languages, and paid off their house at 38. Nobody sees it coming. And that is exactly what makes it dangerous value. A 2019 Mazda 6 Grand Touring rolled into my shop last year with 64,000 miles on it. The owner came in looking genuinely confused. She told me, and I want you to hear this exactly as she said it feels too nice for what I paid. She bought it for $16,200. We inspected it from front to back. Original suspension. Original engine. No leaks. No warning lights. The only thing it needed was tires. That was it. I have seen luxury SUVs with half that mileage walking in asking for control arms and electronic gremlins like they were ordering appetizers at a restaurant they cannot afford. Here is why the 2018 to 2021 Mazda 6 holds up the way it does. And pay attention because this is where most buyers leave money on the table by not knowing what they are looking at. The base engine is a 2.5-liter Skyactiv naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. Timing chain, not a belt. That one detail alone saves you from staring down an $800 to $1,000 timing belt service that sneaks up on people like a subscription they forgot to cancel. It also uses port injection, which means you are not fighting heavy carbon buildup on the intake valves the way you do with some direct injection-only engines. Carbon buildup is one of those things that sounds minor until your mechanic explains the cleaning bill and you briefly consider walking home. Mazda has been refining this platform for over a decade. Properly maintained, this engine will chase 250,000 to 300,000 miles without any dramatic episodes. Now if you want some real personality in this thing, the 2.5 turbo version available in those same years makes up to 250 horsepower on premium fuel and 227 on regular. More importantly, it delivers 310 pound-feet of torque at just 2,000 RPM. That is diesel-level shove sitting inside a mid-size sedan that people assume is driven by someone who just wants good gas mileage and a quiet commute. You roll into the throttle at a stoplight and the crossover next to you is still having a conversation with its transmission about what gear would be appropriate right now. 0 to 60 in the mid-5-second range with the turbo. In a sedan that the general public completely underestimates. That is the best kind of sleeper. The kind that does not announce itself and does not have to. Ownership costs on the Mazda 6 average around $460 per year in maintenance. That is comfortably below what most mid-size SUVs run once they age out of their warranty period and start developing opinions about being repaired. Insurance is generally lower than comparable crossovers as well, because statistically, people buying Mazda 6 sedans are not out here trying to reenact action movie scenes in a grocery store parking lot on a Saturday afternoon. Common issues worth knowing before you go shopping. Wheel bearings can run $300 to $500 per corner if you ignore humming noises, and people ignore humming noises the way they ignore terms and conditions, right up until it matters. Brake rotors around $300 per axle, which is completely normal. Early infotainment systems in some of these model years can glitch or freeze, and here is the part that nobody tells you. In many cases, it is a faulty SD navigation card. A $40 to $50 fix that some people mistake for a major electronics failure and immediately begin catastrophizing about. Welcome to modern car ownership, where a $50 card causes a $500 panic. Before you buy 2 things I want you to physically check yourself. First, verify that the fuel pump recall has been completed. It is a free dealer fix, but you want it in writing and you want it documented. Second, pop the oil cap and look underneath it. If you see milky or creamy residue, that could indicate coolant contamination, and you walk away from that specific car immediately. If it is clean, that is a genuinely good sign. Simple checks done in a parking lot save you from expensive regrets done in a repair bay. Cargo space sits at around 14.7 cubic feet in the trunk. Not massive, I will grant you that. But let us be completely honest with each other for a moment. Most compact SUV owners are hauling the exact same gym bag, the exact same Costco run, and maybe a folding chair they have used twice. If you are regularly moving furniture or you own 3 Great Danes and they all insist on riding together, this is not your solution. But for 90% of what Americans actually haul on a daily basis, 14.7 cubic feet is more than sufficient and nobody needs to be dramatic about it. Also worth noting, no all-wheel drive on these years. Front-wheel drive only. In serious snow states where winters are genuinely aggressive and unforgiving, that is a real consideration and I am not going to pretend otherwise. Who should buy it? Someone who wants near-luxury interior materials and a refined driving experience without signing up for German luxury maintenance bills that arrive like bad news on a Friday afternoon. Someone who plans to keep the car past 150,000 miles and wants it to cooperate with that plan. Someone who appreciates handling that feels tight and composed and connected to the road instead of top-heavy and floaty like a 3-row crossover that describes itself as sporty in the brochure and then disappoints you in a freeway on-ramp. Who should skip it? If you genuinely need real cargo height for your lifestyle or all-wheel drive for serious winter conditions, this is a sedan. It is an exceptional sedan, but it is still a sedan. It is not a ski lodge shuttle and it was never trying to be. Here is the verdict on the Mazda 6. This car is regularly cross-shopped against entry-level European sedans. Yet over 10 years of ownership it will likely cost thousands of dollars less to maintain, depreciate more gently, and cause you significantly fewer sleepless nights. It does not shout. It does not need to. It just quietly delivers at a level that consistently surprises people who were not paying attention when they walked past it on the lot. And if you think that is impressive, the next car adds serious turbocharged performance to that same long-term reliability equation. But there is one specific engine code you absolutely need to look for when shopping, because the wrong one turns a genuinely great deal into a long-term annoyance that follows you around like a bad decision you cannot quite undo. Honda Accord 2.0T. Pay attention here, because this is where people consistently make an expensive mistake, and I have watched it happen more times than I care to count. When you are shopping for one of these, there is one thing I want you to look for on the spec sheet before you look at anything else. Before you look at the color. Before you look at the interior. Before you even look at the price. You want to see the 2.0T engine. Not the 1.5T. Not the, it is basically the same thing version that someone at a dealership will absolutely try to sell you with full confidence. The 2.0T, 252 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque. And yes, that distinction matters enormously, which I will explain in about 60 seconds. But first, let me tell you about a conversation I had in my shop that I still think about. A guy came in who had just purchased a brand new Honda Pilot for $38,000. Loaded. 3 rows. Cup holders in locations that made no architectural sense. He was proud of it. He told me it was quick. He used that word with genuine confidence. Quick. I recommended he pull up the 0 to 60 time on a 2019 Accord 2.0T Sport while he was standing right there. We pulled it up together. Accord, 5.4 seconds. Pilot, 7.1 seconds. He stared at that screen for a long moment. Not angry. Not defensive. Just the quiet, specific look of a man doing math he did not want to do. He spent $38,000 to be slower than a sedan his neighbor bought used for under $20,000. That is not a personal attack. That is just physics being honest. Here is why this car performs the way it does. The 2.0-liter turbocharged engine in these years is derived from the same engine family as the Civic Type R. That is not marketing language. That is engineering lineage. It makes peak torque at around 1500 RPM, which means the moment you need power, it is already there. When you merge onto the highway, there is no waiting period. No dramatic pause while the transmission holds a meeting about what gear to select. No moment where you are briefly part of traffic instead of moving through it. You press the accelerator and the car goes. Immediately and with genuine purpose. This does not drive like an economy sedan that happens to have a turbo bolted onto it. It drives like a sports sedan that made a practical decision about where to live. And it gets real fuel economy while doing it. You are looking at roughly 22 miles per gallon in the city and 32 on the highway. Real world combined usually lands around 26 to 27 miles per gallon depending on how honest you are being with your right foot. That is meaningfully better than most mid-size SUVs that are working hard just to break into the low 20s combined while carrying nothing but optimism and a phone charger. Now I promised you the engine code conversation, and here it is, because this is genuinely important and I want you to remember it. The 1.5T engine in some Accords from these same years had documented oil dilution issues, particularly in colder climates and in situations involving frequent short trips. Under certain cold weather operating conditions, fuel could make its way into the oil, which is exactly as bad as it sounds and slightly worse than it reads. Honda issued software updates that improved the situation meaningfully. But here is my position as someone who has looked at a lot of these engines. If you want to spend exactly zero mental energy worrying about it, buy the 2.0T and sleep like someone who made a good decision. The issue is not universal and it is not a death sentence on the 1.5, but why introduce the variable when the better engine exists and is available at similar price points in the used market? Maintenance costs on the Accord 2.0T average around $500 to $600 per year over the long term. Over 10 years, you are roughly in the $5,000 to $6,000 range total. That is still well below what performance-oriented SUVs cost once their warranties expire and they start developing expensive opinions about being repaired. And unlike most crossovers, you are not dealing with an all-wheel drive system, rear differential service intervals, or additional drivetrain components that eventually decide they want attention and money simultaneously. Trunk space on the Accord sits at 16.7 cubic feet. That is larger than most mid-size sedans in this class. I have personally watched people load coolers, luggage, sports equipment, and travel gear into one of these trunks and close it without a single piece of creative geometry involved. Meanwhile, compact SUV owners are folding rear seats flat to fit the same load, because cargo height on a brochure and actual usable space in real life are two completely different conversations, and the brochure wins that argument on paper every single time. Common issues on the 2.0T are genuinely not dramatic. Routine wear items. Brakes. Tires. The occasional sensor that decides it has a concern. The 10-speed automatic transmission in these years has proven to be solid when properly maintained, and I want to be clear that proper maintenance on a 10-speed means actually doing it on schedule and not treating the service interval as a suggestion. And if you are fortunate enough to find a manual transmission version from these years, I want you to understand something. You buy it. You do not think about it. You do not sleep on it. You do not ask anyone else's opinion. You buy it and you protect it, because a manual Accord 2.0T is a specific and wonderful thing that is becoming harder to find and does not deserve to be overlooked by someone who is not paying attention. Who should buy it? Someone who wants performance and long-term reliability packaged together without having to choose between them. Someone who genuinely enjoys driving but has no interest in receiving European repair invoices in their email like scheduled disappointments. Someone who wants to merge onto the freeway with authority instead of merging onto the freeway as an act of faith and optimism. Who should skip it? If you need all-wheel drive, the Accord in these years is front-wheel drive only, and that is a real limitation in certain climates and conditions. If you live somewhere that gets genuinely serious winter weather and all-wheel drive is non-negotiable for your situation, this may not check that box for you. And if you are looking specifically at the 1.5T and you primarily do short cold weather trips, I would encourage you to reconsider or at minimum go in with full awareness of what you are working with. Here is the verdict on the Accord 2.0T. This car is what happens when practicality and genuine performance stop pretending they cannot coexist and just shake hands. It is fast enough to embarrass a significant portion of the SUV market. It is spacious enough to handle real daily life without making you compromise constantly. And it does not require luxury brand money to keep running at a high level. It is the car that quietly wins arguments it was never supposed to be part of. But if you think that is the most fun this list has to offer, the last car is the one that makes mechanics smile when it pulls in and makes dealership managers uncomfortable when someone actually does the math out loud. It is rear-wheel drive. It is twin-turbocharged. And it was shaped by someone who used to build the cars that performance enthusiasts hang on their walls. Kia Stinger GT. If you guessed this car at the beginning of the video, I want you to know something. You either genuinely understand the automotive landscape at a level most people never reach, or you have already scared at least one European badge owner at a red light and developed a taste for it. Either way, welcome to the right side of the argument. Let me give you the piece of information that reframes this entire car in about 10 seconds. The Kia Stinger GT was developed under the direct leadership of Albert Biermann, the former head of BMW's M division. Yes, that BMW M division. The same performance engineering department responsible for cars that grown adults hang posters of in their offices and garages and occasionally describe with words that should be reserved for other life experiences. That man left BMW and went to Kia and essentially said, let us build something that the market is not expecting. And then they did exactly that. Under the hood of the 2019 to 2021 Stinger GT sits a 3.3-liter twin-turbocharged V6. 365 horsepower. 376 pound-feet of torque. Rear-wheel drive standard. All-wheel drive available as an option. 0 to 60 in approximately 4.7 seconds. And I want to be precise about something here because precision matters in a courtroom and it matters in a driveway. That is not pretty quick for a Kia. That is not impressive considering the badge. That is objectively fast by any reasonable automotive standard. Faster than a base BMW 5 Series. Faster than an Audi Q5. Faster than most mid-size SUVs under $60,000 that people describe as sporty with complete sincerity while the data disagrees with them openly. I had a customer come to me wanting to trade his 2019 Stinger GT, which had about 48,000 miles on it, for a used BMW 4 Series Gran Coupe. He had made up his mind. He wanted the badge. He wanted what the badge communicated to other people at a stoplight. So we sat down and pulled up the actual numbers together, because I believe people deserve to make decisions with complete information in front of them rather than feelings and assumptions. The Stinger was quicker in the quarter mile. It had more cargo space. It cost thousands less to purchase. And it still had remaining factory warranty coverage that the BMW did not. He sat with that information for a moment. Then he kept the Stinger. The BMW salesperson was not thrilled. But math does not negotiate and it does not care about your feelings on the subject. Here is what makes this car exceptional beyond straight-line performance, because straight-line speed is only part of the conversation and I want you to understand the full picture. The Stinger is a liftback, not a traditional trunk sedan. With the rear seats up you get approximately 23.3 cubic feet of cargo space. Fold the seats down and you are looking at roughly 40.9 cubic feet. Let me put that in perspective for you. That is more usable cargo room than many compact SUVs offer with their seats in the upright position. Read that again and let it settle. You can pull away from a stoplight faster than most things next to you and still fit a Costco run, 2 pieces of luggage, and a set of golf clubs in the back without a single complaint for the cargo area. The SUV owner next to you paid more money for less of both things simultaneously. Fuel economy on the V6 averages around 17 miles per gallon in the city and 25 on the highway, with a combined average close to 20 miles per gallon. And yes, this engine prefers premium fuel. Yes, you will notice that at the pump on a regular basis. That is the honest trade-off for twin turbos and rear-wheel drive performance that puts a specific kind of smile on your face every single time you find an empty on-ramp. This is not the vehicle you choose because you are trying to minimize your environmental footprint or win an argument about efficiency. This is the vehicle you choose because driving it is genuinely enjoyable in a way that a tall crossover with a continuously variable transmission simply cannot replicate regardless of how many cup holders it has. Maintenance costs on the Stinger GT average surprisingly reasonably for what the car delivers when it is properly maintained. Oil changes every 5,000 miles are the smart move on a twin turbocharged engine, not because I am being overly cautious but because turbos run hot, they run hard, and they reward clean oil with a long and productive life. Neglect that and the conversation changes significantly and expensively. These cars have proven far more durable over time than the early skeptics predicted, and I want to acknowledge that because I believe in giving credit where the data supports it. Now here is the information I need you to carry into any shopping experience for one of these. Target 2019 or 2021 specifically. The 2018 was the first model year and carried more electrical complaints and wiring harness recalls than the cars that followed it. The 2020 had some reported fuel gauge irregularities and brake-related concerns that you would prefer to avoid entirely. Before you purchase any of these, verify that the recall work has been completed and documented. Specifically the turbocharger oil feed pipe campaign and the high-pressure fuel pump recall. Both are dealer fixes at zero cost to you, but you want the paperwork in your hand confirming it was done. Documentation is not paranoia. Documentation is how you protect a purchase you are going to be living with for years. Who should buy it? Someone who wants a genuine performance driving experience without the European luxury depreciation curve and the repair anxiety that follows it around like a shadow. Someone who appreciates rear-wheel drive balance and what it does for the way a car communicates with you through a corner. Someone who has done the math, looked at the spec sheet, and enjoys the specific satisfaction of knowing the numbers are on their side when something pulls up next to them at a light. Who should skip it? If maximum fuel efficiency is your primary concern and premium fuel feels like an unnecessary ongoing expense, this is not the car that will make you happy long-term. If you prefer to move through the world without drawing attention, the Stinger GT does not blend in. It was not designed to blend in. It looks like it arrived with intentions, and it sounds like it means every single one of them. Some people want that and some people do not, and both positions are completely valid. But you should know which one you are before you sign anything. Here is the final verdict on the Kia Stinger GT. This is what happens when someone who spent years building benchmark performance vehicles decides to prove a point using a brand that nobody was taking seriously at the time. It is faster than cars that cost significantly more. It carries more than crossovers that people bought specifically for the cargo space. It rewards drivers who actually want to drive. And it does all of this while costing under $20,000 in the used market and depreciating at a rate that works heavily in the buyer's favor. The badge says Kia. The engineering says something else entirely. And at 4.7 seconds to 60 miles per hour, the stoplight does not care what the badge says anyway. Here is the verdict on all four of these cars together. The Toyota Camry V6 gives you legendary longevity with real power and maintenance costs that will never keep you up at night. The Mazda 6 gives you near-luxury refinement without near-luxury repair bills. The Honda Accord 2.0T gives you turbocharged performance wrapped in genuine daily usability. And the Kia Stinger GT gives you rear-wheel drive twin-turbo performance that has absolutely no business being this affordable. All four cost under $20,000 used. All four are faster than the majority of crossovers people are financing brand new for $30,000 to $40,000 right now. And all four will cost you significantly less to own over time than the SUV sitting in the dealership lot next to them wearing a sticker that makes no sense when you do the math. The SUV craze is not evil. It is just expensive. And most people are paying heavily for capability they will never actually use. Meanwhile, these four sedans are sitting undervalued on lots across the country, waiting for someone who understands numbers instead of marketing. If this video saved you from signing a bad deal, hit subscribe to the Auto Judge, leave a like, and drop a comment below telling me which one of these four you would actually put in your driveway. Because around here, we do not hate SUVs. We just prefer winning at the stoplight and at the service counter at the same time.